Close it, we
Okay.
wash.
All right.
Yeah, they're
And
downstairs in my closet.
okay. Now, is anybody else in the waiting room, or just two of us here?
It's in my closet though. I mean, yeah, it's in my closet. My closet's closed though.
Okay.
That
That's
door
it. Okay.
fixed.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, you too.
Oh my God.
That's who we love and who we serve.
How dare you?
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
Is it running now? Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it. Okay, thank you, baby.
All right. Now, hopefully, because I gotta tell you what I was doing tonight. I was at the Ford. Well, okay, we went for a walk, and then because the 420 was here, I said, "Oh, let's go by there and just see what's happening." All
The
right.
420 celebration. Everybody knows the 420 celebration. Anybody who's everybody. In fact, I got wished a happy birthday today by my roommate.
Yeah,
It's not my
yeah,
birthday.
yeah. Oh man.
I'll let everybody figure that one out.
Yeah. So Little John was performing, and I said, like, what is this? Is this guy really little? Because after you get to a certain age, maybe you become Big John or medium sized John. But
Uh-huh.
so we were saying it, and my wife, she did a little bit of filming, and she says it's just a cloud of smoke. And it's like he brought his own fog machine. It's like
Just a fog machine.
yeah, and it was a band that came up after him, and I think I know who the band is. It's a song called "Good for You" by this girl. She was 18 when she wrote most of the album. Maybe she's 19 now, but I thought it was her because I didn't recognize her at all. And
Hmm.
then when I got home, I was putting in the names of the segment. So I'd put in, just in case if he doesn't make it, Jimmy Lee Tillman. Then I put in Disney versus Ron DeSantis. Right?
Ah,
Right?
yes.
So I'm not sure why his booking agent said what time, because it was within the announcement. So we shall see what happens. Hold on, let me go. Let me show you what I got here. Okay, I got Blake Shelton, his song "God's Country," and this is Jimmy Lee Tillman's theme song. So 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 I got all that stuff ready. But oh man, well we'll see what happens. We definitely have plenty of things to talk about.
Really quick. Who is Jimmy Lee Tillman?
Oh,
Jimmy
he
Lee
is.
Tillman
Go ahead.
is running for United States Senate, and he is based out of Idaho. You can reach him by going to Jimmy, the number two, the letters DC. So that's Jimmy to DC. Uh,
Yeah, and then I have to give you all and people give us a thumbs up, share the show, subscribe, give us our monthly subscription, which is $5.99 or you can do the $15.99, and that just really helps us to provide these programs and pay for some of this stuff. And Jesus Bless our nonprofit, and you could even donate more than that if you like at paypal.me/Innervision Denver, and hey, we could do it that way. So anyway,
Now, I guess you're running for office as well, aren't you?
oh yes, so you can also go to like Johnnie, that's JohnnieJ, for Colorado House District 5 in Colorado. And I was on the Kim Munson show this morning. They were talking about, like, we were talking about the 420 thing, and that they were very kind of like lax at the gate with
Right.
checking IDs and so forth. And the literature said recommended 21 and over, only, you know, use the products, whatever.
Sure,
And,
right.
and they had the spinning wheel. I went there with a friend of mine who used to be like very heavy, much into that smoking and stuff,
Hmm.
back in late '90s, and they had the spinning wheel. So if you spin it, you'll win. I don't know, a 10 bag of the cannabis or whatever like that, and they still got that game going on, and that is the prize. Win a free bag. Oh, and then they had. I thought this was good. I don't know if you've ever been on a bus or something like that, and then this guy, he pulls out this board like a checkerboard. Then he puts these little cups there, and then he puts a ball, and he says, "Okay, guess where he has three cups, one ball." Puts it in there, and then he swishes it around, and then he says, "Okay, guess which one, where the ball is at." So on the outside, I saw them
Back,
playing that game.
back.
So it's like and ladies,
Get
oh,
inside.
ah,
Nope, hang
our
on.
little puppy. So let's see what else. What else? Well, I've been keeping hearing sirens and sirens. I said, where are these guys going? But mostly, let's see, how can I describe it? Because my wife she was telling me a lot of the stuff that there, and of course we just came back from a restaurant. So this lady at the gate was saying, "Well, you can't bring any food in because we got food in." And I said, "We just came from the restaurant. We don't want to throw our food away. We got a doggy bag," and it all worked out. It all worked out, but because I thought my wife we were just gonna go around the place and look inside through the fence, but she said no, let's go in. Let's go inside. So 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 I got here 46 after, labeled the show, emailed Jimmy Lee Tillman, which when I was out there, I didn't even check my email because you just don't think that someone's gonna email you at the last minute and say, what time. So anyway, so
Then
I hope he shows up, but if not, then we no. Oh yeah, I did something I didn't want to do. I wanted to see who all is here.
well, right now it's just us chickens. Sorry about that. My dog's got a little
Okay. So anyway, so I was this morning, we were I was listening to some of the news that was going on, and have you ever heard of the topic trickle down economics?
yeah, it was first coined in Ronald Reagan's time.
Yeah.
A lot of the conservative folks thought that if you allowed the 1% to amass the larger portion of all of the wealth, either in the United States or even in the world, why they would have a better chance at leading and controlling people through the economics of a country, or, like I said, even on a world economic standpoint.
Well, guess who claimed that he's a victim of trickle down economics, and that he wished he was doing better.
Who's this?
I should have looked for it because I didn't know I was going to be gone that long. Well, in a speech yesterday, our regime leader said, Brandon said that he was a victim of trickle-down economics, and he wished he was doing better. Now I looked up, how much he's worth, and it's around $12 million. Now there are Hollywood stars that have even more money than that.
Sure.
Like Jay-Z. I was looking at $50 million. I think what's his name? Kanye West. He's a billionaire. And so maybe, in the big scheme of things, maybe Biden is on the downside of the trickle down theory. But imagine if you're only making $50,000 a year and having the expenses that we have here in the United States, or even what, 15,000 a year.
Being on a fixed income means that
Yeah.
I am always broke. And even though the cost of living increases many times on a year by year basis, the income which we get, even if it increases, it's usually eaten up by the food stamps or other government subsidies. And so folks end up actually in a worse position than they were in the first place, because oftentimes what will happen is for every $10 that's put out, $15 is being asked for back.
Yeah.
This is really an oversimplification of how it works, but that's really how it works in the real world, where, you can literally get taxed, if you will, into a situation where you end up paying out more than what you did 6 months ago before they, quote, fixed the cost of living adjustment to try to help you out. And as a matter of fact, with the emergency SNAP benefits ending and the coming supply chain shortages, including food shortages, and with the farms and so forth that are having a hard time getting fertilizers, things are really going to be strained over the next few months. Not trying to be a fear monger or anything. It's just a matter of being prepared. And
Oh man, I just got a email from Jimmy Lee Tillman. They said they can't find the link. Do you remember? Oh man.
let me mute real quick and I'll grab it.
Okay. All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to bring on Jimmy Lee Tillman, and I know the I sent the oh yeah, I guess I sent him the topics for tonight, and not exactly and not the link. Let me send him this one. This is so funny. Okay. Okay.
Anyhow, while Johnny's sending that link out, you're on InnervisionFM.com. Hit us up at info@InnervisionFM.com. If you have any subjects that you want to see covered, we do cover things of a political nature, and as our benevolent overlords at YouTube ramp up their midterm stuff, we'll probably be doing a lot of that off platform. So it is of paramount interest sometimes to go ahead and sign up for those memberships that we do have available. You can find those memberships. Description is down below at Innervision Records. That's Innervision, all one word, records, .org. And we do
by
have
the way, I need to ask you something. So when you see the link and it says click here, that just takes you directly to here. You don't have to do anything else, right? Because
in the description.
Yeah. When you get the link, it says Alan has joined your room, and then is a join here, and then it just has a button there to click.
Oh, when you send out the email, yeah.
So that just brings you
when
right
you
in.
send an invite, it should do it. As a matter of fact, I wonder if I can generate an invite from here.
No, I mean I just sent them the same one that tells me that that you have joined the meeting, and it has a link right there. So hopefully they will be able to join us, and then we'll go from there. Well, anyway, so this is gonna be an interesting show. Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry. So anyway, so he claims. Brandon claims that poor him. He's been
He's been a victim of trickle-down economics
from 1972 on, and maybe that's why it was so tempting for his son Hunter to make all those pay deals with these different national offices or leaders in other countries, because he wanted to help out his dad not to feel so bad about being a victim of the trickle-down theory.
It's an interesting idea when we look at the fact that Hunter is, say, 51 years old, and he was quoted in saying in some text that he had been helping to pay the bills for the family for the last 30 years. Very interesting. I mean,
well, if you got rid of that mansion, or downsize, maybe that would help.
Well, to have that burden placed upon a poor 21-year-old kid's shoulders, to have to be the breadwinner for the future president of the United States. That's just amazing to me.
Or even the vice president. I mean, I think that's when it really started picking up. I mean, it probably was a little bit before he was vice president, but I bet it really started picking up during that time, because it's, hey, well, we can't give you Obama, but we can give you someone that's close to him. And then, of course, remember that video when he went down to Ukraine and said, if you don't stop investigating my son, I'm not going to give you the check, and you can call Obama, and you can ask him if that's what he told me. Right?
Yeah, interesting. And then he is quoted on a different video saying, "Well, son of a, they went ahead and they actually did that. They fired that prosecutor."
Yeah.
So it's an interesting time that we live in. The one thing that's constant and never changes is Jesus Christ, and the idea being that it's a mad world, it's a crazy world, and we, on both sides of this aisle, whether we be Republican or Democrat, we are united in the fact that there is one who died for all of our sins, and he came to save all of us a couple of thousand years ago in the form of his son Jesus Christ. And
yeah, definitely. But I don't know. I can't see being I don't know, that much of a victim. It's like, come on.
It's interesting because we're all victims in some way. And it started from the beginning in the Garden of Eden, when the adversary first showed himself to to the lady. And it's interesting because a lot of folks think that lady of the house and the man of the house were sort of separated at some point, and that may or may not be. I wasn't there. I'm not that old yet, but what if they were together? What if they were hanging out, doing their thing, tending the garden, and that serpent come out there and he talks to Eve, and Adam's standing there behind her shoulder. Who knows? But it's a fascinating read, if nothing else. And it's more than just a blueprint to live your life by. It's a wow. It's a it's a love story. It's a war story. It's a historical document. It's a lot of things, but more than that, though, he doesn't want religion. He wants a relationship with his people. And we are at a critical juncture where the animating contest of liberty says, do we want to choose the side of the world, or do we want to choose a higher plane of existence? Some people would call that eternal life. And other folks are really open-minded, and they're like, well, we're going to ascend to the fifth dimension and we're going to do all these things. I'm not so sure about whatever's going to transpire, but I do know that I serve that creator of the universe. So.
Yeah. Should we do like an impromptu survey? I mean, do you guys feel sorry that this Biden, Brandon, is a victim of trickle-down economics, and that he's blaming Putin for the high gas prices and high food prices? Do you feel sorry for him? Just say yes, you feel sorry for him. No, you don't, and you could even add like the reasons why you don't feel sorry for Brandon here, that he's a victim of the trickle down economics. And like I said, we were that video yesterday about the 25-year-old girl who says that the 1% should pay 100% of their money to keep the I like to call it the gravy train going. But it's just the mindset like that you wonder, are these people that maybe they lived with the parents until they were like maybe 24. They were on the parents' taxes until like 24, 25. The parents put them through college because they had the money. And just the concept of, your parents, they love you enough to perhaps let you live in the house for free because you're their little princess. But it's not like that for a lot of people. And unless you meet like a lot of people who are under different economic levels, you're living in a fantasy world, and sometimes that cloud is hard to break out if you're surrounded by around other people that lived in that same kind of, shall we call it, privilege cloud.
And there's privilege in all demographics of society. You've got you've got quite a bit of privilege. You've got what a lot of people talked about for a while. This is white privilege. You've got sight privilege. You've got privilege of this kind of thing. You got blind privilege, as a matter of fact. And if we just all threw that away and decided to love our neighbor as ourselves and really get into that, one of the greatest commandments ever to be given, we'd be in a better place. Because
Yes.
in love our neighbor as ourselves, there is, how can we help our neighbor? How can we uplift what we got going on? How can we make sure that all ships rise upon the tide of success, rather than how can we step on our brother and our sister and our non-specific or gender fluid individual to get to the top?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking like, so many like wild things. Well, wild thoughts, wild things are going on in this country, and it really makes you because I mean you think like when did I gotta ask you this question? When did you find out that what how old were you when you found out that not everybody was raised the way you were raised?
Well,
I'll tell my story when you tell me yours.
I gotta tell you, I found that out rather early. My mom was a hippie and my dad was a biker. And, but during the course of our lives and stuff, moving all around from place to place because of the quote lifestyle that they had, we got to interact with all kinds of folks, whether they be rich or not. And, so I learned right away that not everybody was a bunch of peace loving folks, and not everybody was a bunch of hardcore convicts. And that there were people that were really truly trying to make everything good and lift people up, as I say, and allow for the ships, as it were, to rise upon the tides of success. Had good teachers back in the day, good solid folks that believed in the United States Constitution, the founders, the framers of the country. And I was super fortunate for that. I remember 1974, I think it was, that politically speaking, when I first became interested in politics, I found out what Watergate. I says, Mom, Watergate is surely the portal that you enter and exit out of from a watershed. And she says, no, surely it's not that, son. And from that point on, after she told me about Watergate, I'd been involved in politics. In 1976, when the bicentennial was in full swing, man, oh man, oh man, what about a bunch of freedom-loving, patriotic, red-blooded American individuals? Boy, from there, it just took off. What about yourself, Johnny?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm a late bloomer. I was working as a DJ at this club, and I think about like 35, and I watched a lot of movies, and when I was working as a DJ, I started meeting the people that I saw in those movies, like the,
Right.
prostitutes, cowboys, because it was a country western kind of thing.
Yeah.
Bartenders, and then as I started talking to them, because sometimes there would be certain ladies out there, and I would wonder like, don't you have a family? You're here. I mean, I'm here because I work here. I'm getting paid, but you get here about 7 o'clock and you stay until 1 o'clock.
Wow.
What is and maybe the kids are grown or whatever I say, but what is I sometimes I think I couldn't imagine hanging out because I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I mean, I enjoyed that they were there. It helped pay the bills and stuff like that.
Sure.
But but I couldn't imagine having a lifestyle where instead of going to a movie or going to a concert, I'm at this dark kind of like interesting club Sunday through Wednesday, and sitting there drinking, and maybe you're meeting people and stuff like that. But I couldn't imagine that because I didn't start going to clubs until I started working at a club. So then I realized not everybody was raised that way. And then sometimes I would ask the people, like, hey, I said, don't you want to go to a movie or something like that? And they said, no, I want to go to the club. And I'm thinking like, but but this good movie out there. Or I said, don't you want to go to the zoo? I said, no, the club or to the, and then now it was really what one time I did meet this later on when the crowd changed to like deadhead people.
Yes.
It changed a little bit, and I met this one lady, and she was very rich. Her parents paid, and she was about maybe 25 years old. Her parents paid her apartment, and she had this big apartment. And sometimes you would have people that would sleep over that her parents were taking care of through her, And now she did go to the mountain sometime, but it was just interesting to meet someone that uh, ran like a flop house um, that her parents paid for the flop house.
And
You know,
the that is what you call interesting.
yeah, and it was just I just never had met people like that, and like I said, a lot of them I seen in movies, but to meet them like in person and like the Deadhead people, yeah, I definitely saw those like people in those movies that the Deadheads would they would put together these footage of them and their concerts and you got to meet these people and it's like wow, it's like I didn't even know you guys existed outside of that television because I vicariously lived through TV to explain the world to me. And you would see a movie and it would be a bar scene, but you didn't think that people would stay in the bar 3 or 4 nights a week.
It was interesting because in the early 70s, things like that really did take off. And of course, you had the Star Trek conventions, similar kind of thing where the Star Trek cast, members of them would be asked to tour the country and they would be in this place on this given weekend and in next state in the next given weekend or something like that. And in 1973, I went and saw Leonard Nimoy, who played Mr. Spock on the old Star Trek, the original series. And man, I'll tell you, it was really cool. But I remember he picked me up. He was holding me, because I'm 2 years old. So, and he says, "Oh, what a beautiful girl," because I had long hair. And so I says, "I am not a girl," and I hit him hard as I could. Boy, I just hit him right in his chest as hard as I could. And he laughs and he puts me back down. And he starts explaining to me. He says, "I play Mr. Spock." And I says, "You're Mr. Spock." I was all excited. Boy, I was all happy, even though he called me a girl. I forgave him pretty quick. And but
Wow.
he told me about, no, I'm not real. I'm not really Mr. Spock. I just play the guy on TV. And he explained to me how TV worked. He says, when people get shot on TV or something like this, they don't really die. It's, we're just acting, and so I learned, pretty quick that TV, what you see on TV isn't always true. And what you see on TV is fiction sometimes, and it's meant to entertain and meant to bring you together as a human race. And I learned also that early on with the television programs, music was super important. The music scores, how it made you feel right before Jaws came and snatched you out of that boat. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Oh yeah.
it unifies everybody. Music unifies everybody. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It only matters that music makes you feel that way. And it just fascinated me. Didn't matter who you were. Everybody had the power to feel that certain way when Jaws came up under that boat.
Yeah, and I was also thinking about and there's some like really good actors that really, I mean, they bring out the essence of a character. Like, okay, Johnny Depp. Okay, he's going through this divorce trial, and it's kind of funny listening to his voice because the last movie I saw with Johnny Depp was when he was playing Barnabas Collins in
Oh,
the
and Dark
movie,
Shadows.
and I've seen other people play that part.
Yeah.
He really brought out the essence. I mean, the original guy, he was good, but I wish Johnny Depp was old enough to play it when they tried to remake it in the late '80s, '90s, because he really brought out the essence. It was this one part in there that he says he's talking to these young people about feelings and being misunderstood, and then he says, "And I apologize, but now I have to kill all of you."
All of you.
And I said,
Gentlemen, right to
"Classes,
the end.
classic Barnabas Carlin, you know. But I mean, the way he played that part, I mean, just. But you know, there's some aspects that can really just bring out the essence and make you believe they're that person. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have Jimmy Lee Tillman on tonight. We got they couldn't make it Monday, and then I sent them an announcement, and then I sent them the questions I want. But I guess I should always send in like the ID number and password if
Link
there
and
is
password.
one and all that kind of stuff. But I just sent like some of the proposed questions I had, and we may get them on before the end of this month, and if not, then sometime but he's running for U.S. Senate of the United States senator, and so if you live in Illinois in that area, vote for him. And then let's get to this Disney versus DeSantis. And the reason I brought that up is because our heartless governor Polis, and I'm going to tell you why I call him heartless Jared Polis. Now, DeSantis' name is quite known because he's in the news a lot. Polis, to a lot of people, may not be known because he hasn't been able to step in the national eye as much as DeSantis. So I guess Disney hires about 80,000 people in the Florida area. And so this back and forth between Disney and DeSantis, Polis stepped in there and said, hey, Disney, Colorado would love to have you here as well. And we won't try to control business. Now,
Oh my.
what the biggest liar is this guy, because he's destroyed 40% of the small businesses here in Colorado. There's a cake maker that his minions is some kind of appointed group made it hell for and I forgot the cake maker's name. That two gay guys came in and wanted to make a cake, and they said it was against his religious beliefs and so forth, and so they took him to court and went over to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, no, okay, he has the right to make this guy. He said he would make any other kind of thing, muffins, whatever, but he wouldn't make a cake to celebrate this, and the courts upheld that, and then they still sent in another group to harass him again when the Supreme Court said, hey, leave this guy alone, don't do this again. But with these banditos, they don't want to quit until they see you commit suicide or whatever. So anyway, so for him to stick Jared Polis to stick his nose in there is just because he has his eyes on the bigger prize, and like Buttigieg, he wouldn't get elected either nationally if he ran for president. So he can keep wishing, but I don't think it would work. What do you think? And what did you hear about?
Yeah, I would say sign up for our newsletter. These are going to be some sensitive topics in the next couple of weeks and months. And, the only real way to get through any of this stuff, because our liberal friends on the left-hand side are all about making sure that misinformation and disinformation isn't being peddled. And so in order to make sure that that's not peddled, we have to go to other platforms to express our opinions.
Yeah, and that's info at innervisionfm.com. That's info at innervisionfm.com, and we'll hook you up with our newsletter. So, well, anyway, it looks like we're gonna close this out.
It's been fun, folks. Have yourselves a good weekend, long weekend. We will be back with you next Monday with a lot of other cool content. Don't forget, Dreamland Music, and that's MUZIK, is doing a show on April 29th.
Yeah, at Roxy Theater here in Denver on Walton. There's two Roxy Theaters. So we're talking about the one on Walton Street that they're going to be in concert, and you can get your tickets at Afton. That's AFTON shows plural .com/Dreamland Music MUZIK, and right now I have the guys down there. I hope they're down there gathering names from for the concert because there's like thousands of people down there, and that audience, is their kind of audience. So anyway, what- this-
Sorry, just a little bit of echo there.
oh yeah, all right. So I guess we'll see you next week, and I'm gonna help my wife, do some stuff with the house, or we may head out again.
Hey,
Who
never
knows?
know. It's 420, buddy.
Who knows? See some more music, some more live music, because I'm hearing something right now. It sounds like uh, in between the concerts, sound like some Steely Dan they're playing. But anyway,
Hey, absolutely cool.
all right, you guys. You guys have a fantastic day. And let's see. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where am I at? Oh, hold on. Let me give it. Where? Okay. I'm back here. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Next week.